side.
This is our Fuck! Wow, dude, you're crazy. You don't even know how to build a DOS machine. Maybe I don't.
God damn it, I suck at this game! Damn, looking good. Except I can't freaking aim. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive right into Windows. Alright, so as you can see, not only do we have a custom startup sound, but we have 1024 by 768 resolution with a desktop wallpaper. As you can see, the last thing I was playing here was Magic School Bus. So this is our program manager with a few more things than was there last time. First of all, we're going to revisit MIDI playback. I'm going to go back into Audio Station and load up some MIDI files. Okay, so what we're hearing right now is the AWE64 synthesizer. Sounds pretty good. What we can do, so right now it's set to the AWE64 synth, but what we can do is we can set it back to Sound Blaster 16, which is closer to what you heard in the last video when I used Audio Station to play back, because the default synthesizer in Windows 3.1 at the time was set to the older synthesis, and it sounds like this. Same song, obviously, but it sounds a bit different. Perhaps a little bit more retro. That's the synthesis that I was used to from my childhood. That's what the default synthesizer was back then, because all I had was Sound Blaster 16. There's also WAV Synth, which actually there is quite a bit of documentation on what exactly this is in the manual for the AWE64. See if it will actually play back at this point. Something AWE64 related did just pop up on the screen, so we have now a third MIDI sound font, if you will. But really we're using totally different technology. So this is what's known as wavetable synthesis. These are actually samples that are being played back. To be completely honest, I don't really like this the way this sounds. I'd much rather go with oh, get out of here. With the AWE64 synth, or hell, even the Sound Blaster 16 one. Switch back over to Sound Blaster 16. And let's switch back to WAV Synth again. It just doesn't have that kick. I don't know. But we do, in essence, have three different types of MIDI we can listen to if we want to. Functionally, that's what is going on. So, pretty much any program that uses MIDI gets affected by changing the overall system MIDI mapper. So, unfortunately, the two can't be running at the same time. So if I'm playing back some MIDI, I can't open the MIDI mapper and make any changes while it's actually rolling. I can change it here. All I can do is cancel it until this stops being active, so it sort of enters a read-only state. Then it gives me the option to close. So I'm going to keep it on AWE64 just because that's the best sounding one in my opinion, without going into too much of a nostalgic zone. So while we're on the subject of AWE64, let's take a look at all the software that came on the original disc. I didn't have the original disc originally in the last video, last Ultimate DOS Machine video. And as you can see, it comes with a buttload of software. Let me go ahead and play some music while we're doing this. Got the Creative Mixer, which is basically this mixer down here, except as a spectrum analyzer. For the most part, that's about it. If you change the volume of on one, it changes on the other. Or at least it should. Yep, there it goes. Gotta make the window active again. Oh, let's see. There we go. So that's the Creative Mixer if you want to overall control the sound volume of your sound card. Control panel, which you can select what sort of reverb and chorus settings you want on your sound card overall, or well, on the MIDI at least. So changing these will affect those little meter bars that you see in the AutoEXE bat when it's executing. Turn up the bass. Apparently there is some sort of synthesizer bank changing. So we have a lot of different MIDI settings to actually mess around with. This is the first one that you can actually mess with while it's playing back. Apparently you can load sound font files with this. So what I'm going to try and do is load up the Mega Drive sound font. Well, but I can't because it's too big. Regular general MIDI. Oh, still sounds the same. You could play around with this for hours, I'm sure. Now it's gone more synthesizer. That's cool. But we're still using that AWE64 synth. To be completely honest, I'm kind of confused. There's a lot of different options for how to listen to MIDI, I guess. And okay, so let's better explain what's going on. This control panel controls this synthesizer. This control panel controls this synthesizer. Not a whole lot more we can do with WAV Synth here, but that's what's going on. So it also has a help file for each one. It's like loaded with information on how to use this. Creative mode remote doesn't really do anything because it's, I guess, for controlling CD playback of some sort. Creative MIDI is just the exact same thing, almost to the T, as this one. Just another MIDI player. I just like Audio Station because it looks cooler. Creative Wave. Yet again, it's the same sort of thing if you added the wave playback on that. Creative CD. Pretty much exactly like Audio Station. Apparently these all stack together at some point in time. Wave Studio is just a... it's like Audacity for Windows 3.1 basically. Don't really have anything to record at the moment. Looks like it recorded something. Oh, it actually recorded, that's cool. It actually recorded the, playback of MIDI. So, if this is anything like, yep. Your basic wave editing software, not too much to write home about. Add your echo. Sound LE is basically sound recorder. And for some reason it's recording in 8 kilohertz for whatever reason. So this is just deliberately to make your recording sound worse. Vienna is some sort of sound font studio that I never got working. Can apparently load in this. So now we're actually working with that Mega Drive sound font. Unfortunately, I don't know how to use it. So that was just the audio software folder. There's a lot of stuff on here. Okay, so you're probably wondering, I want to see that capture card work. So, installing the capture card also installed a package called Video for Windows 1.0. And this is required for playback of, you know, video files. So let me give you an example of what a video file looks like on Windows 3.1. So that's an example of a file you can make using this software. So if any of you are familiar with capture cards, webcams, what have you, you're probably familiar with a software called AMCAP. Originally this apparently was called VidCap. And it resides on Windows, and it seems to have gotten its roots in Windows 3.1 at some point or another. So this is exactly like AMCAP for the most part, with some other differences. There's a palette load option, which we really don't even need to mess with. Preferences just seem to deal with the program itself. And you can change the video format, its size, actual video source. Since we have S-Video and Composite in the back, we can select which one we want. You can capture single frames, a group of frames, a video, or the palette from the input. So right now we don't have any input because I don't have anything plugged into it. So as you can see, it's pretty small and it can't be scaled up or pixel doubled. The only way we can fix that is if we actually change the resolution of the input video, and that can actually go up to 640 by 480, but with harsh consequences. As you can see, there's a little bit of a tearing line there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. Let's go ahead and start the movie here. Okay, so this is what 640 by 480 looks like. As you can see, it's a little bit laggy. Of course, it has to use dithering because it doesn't have the full color palette available. So we can step it down to 320 by 240. Still a bit laggy, but technically watchable. I don't think it would look too much better if we actually went with S-Video. Step it down a little bit more. It's a little bit better. A little bit more, gets a little bit better. And if you really want to get crazy and not actually watch anything at all, then I guess you can do this absurdly low resolution. So usually the sweet spot is 160 by 120. You can actually see it, and then it runs pretty decently. There's different compression options, none of which I have too much faith in. Does change the color palette mode of the whole system there if I do that. Try and turn it up a little bit. Still has to do some dithering just because we're in 256 color mode. 24-bit doesn't really do anything. So you're probably wondering, where's the sound? Well, I don't have it plugged in. And now we actually have stereo because we're going to line in jack. So when the video is not in focus, when the window is not in focus, there's a severe FPS drop. Okay, so let's say we wanted to be a dirty, filthy pirate and record off of our DVD onto a video file so that we could upload it on the internets later. So we have to set our capture file. We'll just call it Tron. Set the file size to whatever. Shouldn't end up being too big. So let's capture video. Frame rate of 15 should be sufficient. Capture directly to disk. And we're capturing. Poorly. It's only dropped 28 frames. Let's end it right there. So let me go ahead and pause the movie. Let's go find our file and see if it actually recorded sound. So there's our Tron. Apparently it didn't record audio for whatever reason. Actually did a pretty damn good job of actually recording Tron. This is watchable. You know what's actually going on in the video, even though it's like super low resolution. And there you go. So that's the capture card working. And all the audio you're hearing is coming straight out of the Ultimate DOS machine, right out of the sound card. Everything's sort of being fed through there. The audio for this is line in. Okay, so moving on to our next piece of hardware, we have Dectalk. So the number one problem with the previous DOS Dectalk machine setup, as seen in the OBKSPE Dectalk 1010 video, if I remember correctly, you could only use the DOS program DT demo to get any sort of audio out of the Dectalk. But now we have Windows 3.1, which means we can run DT demo in a DOS prompt, and it'll work just as good. So the advantage to running Dectalk in a DOS prompt window is that you can switch back and forth between the actual DT demo and the composition of the song itself. So if we were to load up a file like this, And we wanted to make a slight adjustment right to the end. And save it. And load it up again. So I made it wrong at the end, but you can see that you don't even need to quit out of DT demo. You can just keep typing in, make a change, go back, play it back, make another change, go back, play it back, and it's way more efficient than doing it in pure DOS, which is what I was doing before. So this may streamline my capacity for making. So I might make another Dectalk tutorial video which deals with the hardcore nitty-gritty MS-DOS using an actual Dectalk card in Windows 3.1. And then if we get crazy enough, might even launch up ProSound and completely make an entire song with both MIDI and recording Dectalk only on the Ultimate DOS machine, creating an entire song with MIDI and Dectalk. That would be an absolute nightmare, but in theory possible. Well, that's a little demonstration of multitasking with all these sort of cool things we got going on here. So that should wrap up this Windows demonstration on the Ultimate DOS machine. Hopefully I can still call it that, even though half of the cool stuff we're doing is in Windows. I don't think it really matters at this point. It's a name that's stuck for so long, and I can't really imagine calling this computer anything else, even though almost none of it is still there. The AWE64 card is really the only thing that I've retained from the original build. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this, and I do thank you for watching this. I hope to see you again very soon in the next video. Let me know if you want to see any other crazy stuff from this computer, or one of the other Macs, or something else. This is Draga1, signing off.